We have been joined by the leader of the opposition, Mr. Mukul Sangma. You have just did cast your vote. So how confident are you today?
See, my confidence revolves around my faith and trust on people's wisdom. And therefore, the mandate will be accordingly anticipated in that direction. Because people of this beautiful state have demonstrated their responsibility towards protecting the interests of the larger interests of the people and larger interests of the state. There was a time when the whole civil society, along with the people, came together to defend the interests of the state when there was instance of alleged corruption, long time back, around 20 years back. So that's the kind of, alert, vigilant citizenship that you see in the state of Meghalaya. Therefore, I have every reason to believe that people have taken cognizance of what is happening in this last preceding 5 years. The 5 years have been really devastating for the state. The name and fame of the state has gone for a toss. Today you see the state having this infamous tag of being the #1 corrupt state in the whole country. Nobody's comfortable with this kind of infamous reputation. Therefore, people have the sense of responsibility, and there's a time when people have to act to see that, okay, the state doesn't have that kind of infamous state behind it.
So you have been the chief minister of this state, and then you have been the leader of opposition as well. So what are the major changes that you would like to mention? Because those are the issues, of course, the people of Meghalaya are also looking forward to be solved by the upcoming government to be formed in Meghalaya.
See, number one thing is that you must understand the quantum of damage, the scales of damage that can be inflicted upon a state because of corruption. Corruption is more crippling and more deadlier than terrorism. Therefore, we have always been trying to create that whole enabling environment to see that there is a deterrence. There's a deterrence to ensure that people do not have the tendency to engage themselves in corruption. That's why in the preceding term, when we had the privilege to be in the government, what we have done, we have embarked upon a number of initiatives where we wanted to ensure transparency, accountability. We also came up with community participation through social auditing, so that on a real-time basis, people themselves are able to participate in the whole process of auditing, so that there is no need of any post-mortem pertaining to any possible irregularity. So, there has been a number, and our state was one of the states which went ahead of many other states in ensuring that RTI is implemented. So also the high-octane. And these are all reflective of our intent to ensure that the state is insulated from these whole chances of greed that can inflict irreversible damage in the fiscal health of the state. So these are priorities.
So talking about the issues, Mr. Conrad Sangma has been stating that he has been quite successful in dealing with the border dispute between Assam and Meghalaya, which has at times created a lot of, we can say, disturbance between the people of the both states. So how do you see it? He has been claiming that he has been quite successful in dealing with this border dispute between the both states, Assam and Meghalaya.
On the contrary, you have seen recent firing. Is it reflective of peaceful environment along the border? And these are captured and reflected by the media only because there was loss of precious life. But there are instances of other alleged harassment, instances of alleged atrocities all along the Assam-Meghalaya border pertaining to the people belonging to certain communities. And these are not something which have not hit the news headlines. It's all there for record. So therefore, when the people are hell-bent on telling the government that this is not something which we are going to accept, we cannot accept. Why is in the first instance, the areas of difference or the border dispute in between the two states? Because we have not accepted. When people don't accept, you will always have the dispute. Now, if you want to solve or resolve any issue pertaining to area of difference, say you have a land and then you have a dispute with your neighbor, and you want to agree to give whatever he has encroached, then there is no dispute. So that is the simplest approach to resolve issue of dispute. Are mera ye jamin le raha hai, de do yaar unko, khatam. So this is exactly what the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, So this is exactly what the Chief Minister of Meghalaya has done. Everything was scripted in as far as the MOU that was signed by the two governments. Everything was scripted by Assam government. Conrad Sangma has only signed. Okay, that's the truth. That's the reality. Because during the time when I had the privilege to lead the government, the whole documentation to substantiate the claim of the state and the people pertaining to those areas of difference along the Assam-Meghalaya border was reflected by all the maps and notification from the British time. We can't redraw maps immediately because you're talking about the land which belongs to the people. When we talk about Meghalaya, Meghalaya has been created by clubbing together the then two autonomous district councils, the Garhwals and the United Khasis and Jahils. So all these areas which were within those erstwhile jurisdictions of those autonomous district council, they invariably becomes part and parcel and integral part of the state. So we don't want to keep because the people want to keep. I will have to speak the voice of the people. I have to only represent people's, desire, people's resolve, not my personal.
Sir, my last question is that we have seen that in the last elections also, it's quite fragile about counting. When the counting day comes, the small parties, we have to take help of the small parties sometimes and come into an alliance to form the government, the way NPP, BJP, UDP did in the last elections. So if that situation arrives, will you also be open for it?
See, people of Meghalaya have been always vigilant. We have tried to ensure that people understand the very importance of having a decisive mandate during an election. People of the state of Meghalaya has demonstrated it in the first election post creation of the state. Why has it happened? It has happened because there was a sense of oneness. There was unity amongst the different tribes in the three hills of the state. And this is exactly the same thing that we have been trying to invoke. And I have every reason to believe that the people, keeping in mind our collective responsibility towards protecting the interests of the people and the state, people will come together.
Thank you.